Hey everybody, and welcome. Sorry about the little bit of a delay for the intro. And welcome to Mr. Retroactive's Corner. I'm your host, Mr. Retroactive, and today we'll be reviewing Spider-Man No Way Home. The big film I've been hoping to do a review on for a while. Joining me today is, of course, Ry-Guy right here on the desktop here.
Hello.
And of course, we got Billiepetal, who also will be joining us. You don't have to be so quiet.
Hello.
There you go.
Hello.
Anyway, hard to believe we're actually going to be reviewing this movie. It's, a lot of people have pretty much guaranteed it's one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time.
Oh, yeah.
But, what are your thoughts on the movie, though?
Oh, God. The ending was sad.
Oh, heartbreaking.
So far, I've heard that being a relative case.
But that's sort of like, that's how superhero endings are, though.
Not all the time, though.
No, but I mean, it's sort of a trope. It's sort of like the only real outcome because.
It's really sad for a Marvel movie, though.
Right.
True.
I mean, you'd expect a DC superhero movie to be depressing as shit, but...
That is true, ever since the whole, them trying to make the DC universe and all that crap. And how they failed miserably. And are now just doing individual movies instead. With no continuity between them.
I like the continuity, though. I thought that was incredible.
Not with DC, though. They pretty much failed in their universe. Same with Universal Studios with their Dark Universe. They were about to start with The Mummy, but that flopped.
Oh, God. I did like the Golden Book of Life.
Mm-hmm.
They had a reference. That made me happy.
True, but
Other than that,
yeah, the rest of the movie sucked.
Which one are we talking about?
The
Brendan Fraser? Or
No, the new
Tom-
one, the
Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise one.
The original was good.
The original was decent.
Amazing. I love that.
The original one was decent in my eyes. I
Yes.
wouldn't necessarily say it's.
Cool guys on.
Oh, cool. How you doing, cool guy? When it comes down to this movie, though, this will be very interesting.
I think the ending is really the only way a superhero ending is supposed to go. Because,
Especially for Spider-Man.
Right, because you get to the point where you understand that no matter what, bad people are going to seek out the people he loves and try to hurt them, or turn them against him, or use them against him. It's like there's no... I mean, that's for every superhero. Either they're going to get hurt, or they're going to get in the way, or they're going to be used. You
True.
know?
But do you think, even after casting the spell, Doctor Strange will remember who Peter is?
Most likely he will.
Because in the beginning, when he explained the spell and told Wong about it, he said the reason why he knows it in the first place and says, I don't remember that. And then he has a pleased look on his face, which signifies he probably had to cast the spell for Wong, and then no one else but him remembered. So hopefully at some point, Doctor Strange will come to Peter for some sort of help, and
Maybe.
Peter will hopefully be happy that someone remembers him.
Well, so I'm not familiar with Doctor Strange either. I'm like half in the dark here, but
Yeah, unfortunately...
Doctor Strange is the supreme magic user of the Marvel Universe.
Even though in the original Marvel Universe, he is Sorcerer Supreme.
so
The only reason why he kind of lost it in the cinematic universe is because he technically blipped out for 5 years.
So
Yeah.
I would assume though that if he's the one casting the spell, he would be immune to its effects.
Not
is it straight
entirely. It depends on the spell. If the
mean, he
spell
implied-
affects a whole range of people, he's not immune to it.
So he implied,
Yeah,
like, even if
but-
he remembered, then the others would come through and it just wouldn't work, right?
Most likely, he actually forgot him.
That's so sad.
Yeah, but the thing is, it did seem like it could have been, if given proper time, it could have been tailored so certain people could remember. But
They only remember.
Didn't elaborate before even starting.
Here's the thing though. The spell. Hold on, we're getting off topic here. We got to hurry up. We'll start off with story, but first, no worries. But yeah, we're gonna get into that discussion though, right as soon as we start the story. But what do you guys think are your predictions for the score for this movie?
Like a 54.
So we're just gonna say 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect. Everything. It's sad, happy, anger-inducing, but it's perfect.
All right. Yeah, same here. All right. Let's start off with story. First of all, okay, if you have not watched the other films, it does a decent job of recapping the most recent Spider-Man movie, but not too much beforehand when it comes to the other ones. It does do a decent recap of Avengers Endgame.
Right.
So, for what it's worth, it does at least do a really good recap, but only of the most recent events. We'll have to talk to him in a moment. Hold on, let me. Hold on for a moment, everyone. Just need to. There we go. So we have to cancel that one for now. But yeah, basically, if you guys are wondering, that was all about Grim Master wants help creating a character, so we're gonna help him out with doing that. So he doesn't have to use that borrowed character, or could use it for something else. Here we go. All right, so we're gonna start off with story, and we're gonna start off with Billiepetal today, since she hasn't been on the channel for a while. So what's up? What do you think your thoughts on the story of this game?
I thought it was incredible. I thought it was fucking amazing. You were kept saying like you're like, come on, you have to give Tom Holland like a chance. You'll like him, and I was like, no, he's not my Spider-Man.
Tom Holland is a really good Peter Parker.
He is.
Though Andrew Garfield's had the best quip of the Spider-Man.
Well, I think it's really interesting how the characters are contrast to each other. Like they address I'm skipping ahead to character. I'm sorry. I'll back it up. But it's hard not to address the characters when you're talking about the story, because it really comes down to,
Yeah.
I mean, this movie, like, they basically dissect the psyche of what Spider-Man is, but it doesn't make you feel like it's a case study. It's very, it's just sort of
it's not like
the tide of the film, the emotion
it's
of
not
it.
like the Batman trilogy.
No, it doesn't make you feel like you are dissecting this creature. It's just like you're experiencing his elation with him,
Yeah, basically with him, it's more through. It's not just through literal talking. It's also through visuals.
Right.
Where Batman, and yes, I know a lot of people love Dark Knight and all that, but seriously, dude, if you're gonna talk about this thing, just use it for your own damn psychological thesis. Damn it. I think you guys can literally do that instead of literally speaking the whole damn thesis to the entire world.
Right. And I like how the two previous Spider-Men come in, and when they're with, it's sort of like it breaks down not just like what is it to be a superhero, is it right or wrong to be a superhero, but it shows you directly like how grief affects not only just Tom Holland's character as a character, but as a superhero as well, which is, I think the Spider-Man movies, they do that really well in general. I thought it was interesting how each one of them had their own experience and own effect with the grief, and how it changed them as people and as superheroes. And I loved that they acknowledged straight up that Tom Holland's Spider-Man is very different from the two previous Spider-Men. He is part of a team.
Yeah.
He has a team that they are in the planning, they are in the decision making, and they are in the execution with his girl and his best friend, which you don't see that in the previous films. Like, you
mainly
see it a little bit, but you see how that ends badly every time for the previous Spider-Man.
When it comes down to when it comes down to the story, though, but what about you, Ry-Guy? What about you? What are your thoughts?
Just this movie is just, it's hard to process, but in a good way, because everything just ended in an amazing way. Sad, but amazing.
Right.
It's really hard for me to put into words besides that.
Mm-hmm. For me, the story, like I said, the story has a decent recap of the most recent films at the time, Avengers Endgame and Spider-Man Far Away From Home. So it manages to do that one quite well. But if you are a brand new person, you're just starting to watch this film, and this is the first one you start with, you're going to be completely lost. I'm not gonna lie. You are going to be lost. Luckily enough, I gave her a bit of a recap before the movie started, so that's understandable how that was able to work. But yeah, if you have just started watching these movies and this is the first one you're gonna start out with, you're gonna be lost as hell.
Right.
But
well, and it makes it really sad how his story ends. It really drives home because it's such a contrast from the way the previous ones.
No, the previous ones also ended pretty sad. Mainly the end of Spider-Man.
I mean, the way that he's such a part of a team. Like they're so important to his.
Yeah, each one is different.
Steps as a superhero.
Each ending, and if you guys are wondering, yes, each of the endings of Spider-Man are completely different from each other. One is, of course, the Tobey Maguire version, where his is more that the responsibility complete of saving the day had unfortunately weighed down on him.
Right.
But it sounds like according to him in the movie, that he did return as Spider-Man. Right. And he surprisingly got back together with Mary Jane, finally. Yay. Even though that, yes, I know a lot of people hate her, but honestly, she did get a little bit better in 3, surprisingly enough.
I don't hate her. I think...
I don't hate her either, it's just they did not write her well.
No, they didn't really.
They did not write her
as
well
much as she should have gotten. Absolutely.
Oh, and here's the thing: she's a great actress.
She is. Yes, she
and
is.
Trust me, we will get into those movies one of these days. We'll do the entire trilogy, just to show you what improved with her as well. But for right now, yeah, it's actually, and especially for me who grew up with those movies, it is kind of nice to see that Peter finally got at least a happy ending in that one.
Right, absolutely.
And is still being a superhero.
Yeah.
But I also like Andrew Garfield's story, where we find out that even though, yes, he was very much broken to the point where he almost quit being Spider-Man.
Right.
Yet he still does it anyway, because Gwen would have wanted him to.
Right.
Just like everyone else that he's ever tried to save.
I think he's probably the most relatable Spider-Man out of all of them because he's self-deprecating. He's not self-assured. Like Tom Holland's Spider-Man, it's not even like a question.
The death of Gwen really hit him hard.
And
you could definitely see from the scenes just how much he's changed from that incident. He's still being Spider-Man, but he's a lot more self-conscious than he ever was in the past.
He has no self-assurance in what he's doing.
Where Tobey Maguire actually, I believe in a way, is more of
he squared himself with his place.
And I think he's more like the father figure of the 3 because he's the longest living veteran of the group.
Right.
Because not only has he done this for far longer, but he's at least learned to get his stuff together at the time, and at least tried to make something better. It's the reason why he gave Andrew encouragement that things will work out.
Right.
They have a funny way of showing that.
Right. It was beautiful, their scenes. The 3 of them together were incredible.
Yeah, the 3 of them...
They were the best part of the film, in my opinion.
I agree with that, yeah. Because honestly...
I kind of like how Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was asked how his webs work.
Right?
Okay, alright, we're going to address the elephant in the room. The scene that literally got everyone either laughing or freaking excited was the fact that he shot web out of his wrist.
Right.
And they finally addressed that.
I love Holland saying,
especially when Ned says, that came out of you. Yeah. You couldn't do that? No. How in the world does that work?
Asking him, does it come out from anywhere else?
It's like, does it come out of your wrists or does it come out anywhere else? And he's like, no, it just comes out of my wrists.
That was great.
And of course, finding out of a web block.
Right.
He finally explains that one. More of an existential crisis, more mentally in this case, but still, that's honestly funny as hell. I'm like, oh, hilarious. You've got to be kidding me.
I know. Toby's Spider-Man is like so much more laid back.
He is very
chill.
much more laid back than before.
He's like the exact, the guy next door, the nice guy. He's compassionate, but he's also very
That's kind of what his character is.
It is what his character is. He's very mindful in how he speaks. Like, he pauses, and he thinks the best way to convey the information, or the emotion, or what.
Luckily enough, and where Andrew Garfield was in the movies, the more energetic.
Well, he's also
and now in this movie, but after his tragedy, he's more self-conscious.
Yeah.
And with Tom Holland, for him, he's the youngest one, basically the younger brother of the three, the youngest brother of the three.
He has no existential crisis at all, really, until he loses
Aunt May. Yeah, and spoiler alert, he lost Aunt May. I'm sorry for a lot of you fans who loved her character because she does a really good job.
I love that actress anyway. Yeah.
I swear to God, she unfortunately died. Sorry for this big spoiler alert, everyone.
Right.
Sorry, but yeah, for what it's worth, though, it is one of those interesting moments. But again, it's just like I always thought. There's always someone close to him that dies.
Right. Well, and that's sort of
Uncle Ben or it's Aunt May. One of the two.
Makes him, though. That alters
because
him.
They teach him the most important lesson of everyone. Like Uncle Ben in both Amazing Spider-Man and in the original Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility.
Right.
And for Aunt May to say it this time around, again, makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Especially since she's the one who motivates him to do the right thing.
Right. And he is right. I mean, just because they've made very poor choices in previous universes doesn't mean they should just be killed.
I also know that...
She's right.
And here's the thing. I also like how he didn't fully take on her words. Because you see him trying to murder Norman.
He doesn't fully understand it until the end, till he's gone through this experience.
Yeah, basically at that point, he was still enraged and wanted to murder him.
Right.
Heck, it took Toby to try to stop him, even though he got stabbed in the back.
Right, that was horrible.
And also, don't worry guys, he lives. He's been through it multiple times.
Shout out to Mr. Retro for not mocking the shit out of me when I burst into tears in horror at that scene. You didn't only not laugh at me, but you tried to comfort me, and you backed that up with statistics that were further comforting. So
that's also because I've watched the movies at least a few hundred times
but you could have
in my
thrown
childhood.
me under the bus and laughed at me, and you were very, very cool about it. So thank you, mad respect. I appreciate that.
I love that they brought back the Green Goblin.
Oh, don't worry, we'll get to characters in a moment, because that's going to take a whole damn thing on itself, but what would you guys give the story for this movie?
Oh, solid 10.
10.
I'd give it an 11 if that was allowed.
Yes, 11.
Here's the thing. I was very tempted to give it a 9. But the reason why is because that if you haven't watched the other movies,
you're right.
That is the only flaw. If you haven't watched any of the other movies, you're going to get a little confused.
No, I was.
But it does make a more cohesive story on its own.
Right.
That's the reason why I am still going to give it a 10. It's just, I was very tempted to give it a 9. I'm not entirely...
Totally fair.
Here's the thing. It's not...
Fair enough, but I'm still giving mine an 11.
Lord. Alright. Now we're going on to characters, and this one is going to take about, what do you think, an hour?
Whole time, yeah.
Alright. First of all, let's take a look at the Spider-Man that are involved. And... well, having 3 of the most popular movie Spider-Man of all time in one damn film, that definitely shows a lot. But they're now confirmed as part of the MCU.
That's exciting.
Which is a long time coming.
Yeah, honestly, it means that all those films that we watched are now part of the MCU and are technically canon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now it'll be interesting to see what happens when... now, here's the thing. I would love to personally see if they ever did a... like, maybe they did like a... if they had a DVD set, they would do almost like a video of what happened after they went back.
Right, I would like to see that, absolutely.
Because it would be awesome to see
huge
just
changes.
how much things have changed.
Oh, yeah.
Not only would Green Goblin still be alive, but, again, he could actually just be right in front of the glider that hit him.
Right.
Instead of actually being impaled.
Well, and how would that affect
and it'd be
Toby's
cured.
Spider-Man, accidentally, killing, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Someone that's no longer, villainous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot you could unfold in that.
Yeah.
And I would love for them to actually go back and examine that, because that really comes down to the whole superhero question in general. You know, like, is it okay to be a vigilante? You know,
are they doing more harm than good?
Right, exactly. Do you have a right to do this? I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah. And then, of course, Andrew Garfield shows up again. Again, a lot of people really loved him as well, so very interesting.
Oh, I love him.
And yeah, I'm going to go back to their conversation. It is funny that out of all three of them, he's the only one that hasn't faced an alien.
Right.
Which is a little sad.
I know.
But here's the thing. He faced down a being made of electricity.
That's true.
If anything, the other two haven't even faced a villain like that, except for maybe Toby when it comes to Sandman.
Right. I thought the moment between Garfield and MJ was...
I can't believe they actually brought back all of the original actors. That's
that was
nuts.
cool.
I think the only one they didn't bring back was Electro, but I understand the reason why.
It was Jamie Foxx playing Electro both times.
Oh, it was him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. It was him.
I was like, wait, now I'm really confused.
No, I was trying to remember. Yeah, it was him. Sorry. I guess it was mainly because that I haven't watched that movie in a while though.
Right.
The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. So
Right.
I was a little confused on that one. Again, I'm actually shocked they did get all the actors. That's nuts.
That was awesome.
That
was crazy.
This has got to be possibly the biggest project they've ever done at this point for Marvel.
William Dafoe, like, you know, you hate him so much because he goes so dark as
but
a
yet,
character.
at the same
but
time,
then,
you understand why.
You
It's
do
a split
understand.
personality disorder.
Right. But because he's so destructive is why, you know, he's not he's horrible.
But he does
split.
teach an important lesson.
Yeah.
You can't save everyone.
Right.
That's an impossibility.
But he does fix him, though, in the end of this one. And
but here's the thing.
The look of his
But here's the
sorrow
thing, though.
on his face, like when he gets sent back, is
I know.
so...
But here's the thing, though. He still proved his point. Did he save everyone? No. He lost Aunt May.
Right.
He proved his point. You just can't save everyone.
Right.
And that's the only downside of the actual realities of a superhero. And I think what Marvel does best compared to every other comic book series. And trust me, I'm going to just flat out say it. This is the reason why DC Universe has sucked over the years and will continue to do so until they finally get their crap together.
Their canon straight.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And not to mention their writing straight. Their movies have not necessarily been the best. Even the Snyder cut for Justice League, even though is better than the original movie, it falls short of what my expectations are. Not to mention they kind of rushed two stories in one there.
Oh, okay.
Like for Batman v Superman is technically two stories in one. The death of Superman, which basically him versus Doomsday, and Batman v Superman.
Oh, okay.
It's as well as Justice League. So that's technically three. But yeah, you get what I mean, though. They kind of messed up on that one.
I like how they show each of the differences between the Spider-Men.
True.
Like how very different they are.
Yeah, and I also like that the characters are human. That's kind of what the main premise was Stan Lee created for his characters, to be human above all else. Yeah. Because, again, it's like he stated when he first created the character, anybody could wear the mask.
Right.
Anybody can be Spider-Man.
I think Spider-Man, out of all the heroes, really is the most human. Because, you know, like, Batman gets to a point where you're like,
Huh? Oh, how you doing there, man? Sorry about that. We're still discussing that, and just.
I forgot I was saying. It went away. Batman. I feel like Batman is sort of untouchable because he's in
basically
a different realm.
A detective god.
Right, exactly. He's less, I feel, human than the others. You know what I mean? Spider-Man is the most relatable.
What about you, Ry-Guy? What about your thoughts on characters?
Characters, I thought bringing all their stories to a close in this was just perfect. Fixing them all, like, especially with Doc Ock. What he seemed to have forgotten is that he died a hero in the second Spider-Man movie because he destroyed his own fusion generator to save everyone.
Yep.
Oh.
He finally regains
And-
control.
Oh, that's right.
And then
Yeah.
he basically in this movie, got rewarded for that sacrifice and was able to become, well,
Himself
somewhat
again.
normal.
Right.
He's finally back to his normal self.
Right.
Heck,
Right.
I still love that he literally welcomes Spider-Man, Tobey's Spider-Man, with open arms.
Right.
And heck, how he literally actually saves the day when it comes to Electro.
Yeah. I thought I liked that Garfield his Spider-Man got to have that moment with MJ. I thought that was really important. You totally see that coming, but it was.
I had a feeling, yeah, especially
it was
since,
important for him
especially
to have
since
that.
you saw Tom Holland literally getting dragged off away,
Right.
and see
He's
Andrew
not
actually
going
coming
to-
in
yeah.
there and actually going in and saving the day.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought that was beautiful to put that in there. It was very upsetting, but it was beautiful to see it. For the
What do you mean
characters.
upsetting?
Well,
Oh.
it made me cry, but.
Oh. In that particular case, I think it was cathartic. He
Yeah.
finally got his second chance
To save her.
to save her in a
Yeah.
way.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was definitely what he needed.
I thought that was major respect for his character.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
From the writers.
Very much
you
so.
don't see that often, really.
Luckily, they make sure that the writers for Marvel really do try their best to stay not only in continuity with their own movie franchises, but if they are doing something like this with other movie franchises to, of course, give them in a way a great ending.
Right.
Finally being able to help them through their problems. Give them an option at least.
Resolution.
A resolution, yeah.
Right.
And then, of course, yes, we're going to finally talk about it. The scene on the Statue of Liberty with the three of them. Which, dear sweet God, I don't think you could ever have a more perfect scene than that.
So it looks like there's a meme, right, about that, isn't there?
There's
Isn't
no
that the-
meme about it, but
No, like Andrew Garfield, like, insisted that they do the you know thing.
no.
You don't know that?
No,
I don't know.
I read an
that was
article about
that was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
With
No,
the
but,
ending
like,
where both Spider-Man
he wanted it
2099 and the
included.
original Spider-Man were pointing at each other.
Right. So there is a moment in this one where they do
That
that
was
very
good.
briefly, and Andrew Garfield
Oh, I
insisted that they
can't
put it
wait
in.
for Across the Spider-Verse. That's going to be good.
I can't wait for that one. But yeah, the reason why is that it literally starts off with, of course, helping out with his back, which, yes, I actually have gone through that myself. Because that technique that they used in the movie, that actually...
It does work.
It does work, and it's actually helped out my back on several occasions. When I was, well, let's just say I was definitely more of a cripple back then.
Right.
But yeah, it definitely was one of those ones. But yeah, when it comes down to, strange enough, the conversation afterwards, it's funny that he goes straight to where he's literally talking about his webs.
Right.
Because I'm like, yeah, I don't know how it works, and I've watched the three
Right.
movies. All I know is that it literally shoots out of his wrists.
Right. But that's from the spider bite. You know.
Here's the thing. No other Spider-Man except for Spider-Man 2099 had webs coming out of his wrists.
Right,
That's just Sam Raimi.
That's why Tobey's the original Spider-Man. You know.
Yeah, but come on.
He's like exceedingly a Spider-Man.
Aren't you a little bit curious of how that works?
Yes, absolutely. That's.
And even he can't explain it. And it's coming out of his wrists.
It was a little innuendo vibe about that conversation. That
I swear to
thought
God,
was
stop.
Really fun. It was fun. It was funny. Come on. I love the part where Holland tells him, "Yeah, I was in the Avengers," or "I was an Avenger," and they're all like, "Oh wow!
What is that?
What is it? Are you in a band?" I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Because again, they actually bring that up. The Avengers do not exist in their universes.
Right.
There's no Captain America, no Iron Man, no Hulk,
Sorrow.
no one.
It's so sad.
It's just them. In their universes, they are just doing what they do best.
right.
And I think that actually is kind of hilarious.
It was
Because
hilarious.
it literally is addressing the elephant in the room. There's no such thing as the Avengers in their universes.
Right. The continuity, tying it all together was fan-effing-tastic. It was amazing. This film, their scenes together, the three of them, were the very best part of this whole movie. I don't even care that I don't know anything about Holland Spider-Man. I am endeared to him from this movie. So.
All right, so now that we're done talking about the heroes and the villains, let's take a look at the side characters. MJ in this one, I am actually really grateful that she doesn't suck. Thank you. Because here's the thing: for as much as I do love Gwen Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man, she is done amazingly well.
Yeah.
She's not a pushover.
Right.
She is a scientist, so she's intelligent. She knows how to deal with the situation at hand. And she has some balls of steel taking on the freaking lizard in the first movie.
You know, the original MJ kind of gets the shaft. She doesn't get a lot of character development.
Again, in this
She's
particular...
shallow.
Strange thing is the third movie is where she's written very well. It's the other two that unfortunately are the problem.
She falls short a little bit.
And that's mainly due to the writers.
Right. I really like present MJ. She is tough. She's matter of fact.
Not to mention she's also a little
integral.
scary.
She's a little intense. She is.
Because, good lord, I would not want to mess with her if I was an interdimensional being. I'd be like, I don't want to piss her off, please.
You can tell, too, that Holland's like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, here's the thing. And even the other villains, they're a little confused. Especially when the lizard says, that can't be his girlfriend.
Right? She's tough. She's tough as balls.
I'm like, yeah, you really don't want to mess with... Dude, she has the power to press that button and just all be just so bye-bye.
She'll do it. That's cool, though, about her. That's, like, so refreshing to see that. And it's refreshing to see her and Ned, like, Holland, how he respects them. And he needs them on his side as his team. Like, that's how they fucking roll as a team.
Basically, in the original comics, if you guys all know, there was the original trio, which is Peter Parker, Mary Jane, and, of course, Harry Osborn.
Right.
Now, when the comics first started, Gwen Stacy was the only one in his life, which is what Amazing Spider-Man mainly follows.
Right.
But later on, they added Mary Jane, and they added, of course, Harry Osborn into the mix in order to do almost like a trio group dynamic. And that, I think, is one of the most common ones of all the Spider-Man series that we know of, is mainly that three group. Now you can see Gwen Stacy being a part of it as well in other forms of media. So it looks like they are bringing her back as well, especially since Gwen is now a new Spider-Man in another universe. So.
Right. And I hope they give the original MJ, played by Kristen, I hope they give her a better, a better shot at being the character, more depth to
If
her.
anything, I would not be surprised. They actually did a version of her in Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, okay.
Where she's not only married to Peter Parker in the Miles Morales universe, but, and yes, if you guys want to know, the Peter Parker that goes from his universe to Miles Morales' universe is technically the same one known as Tobey Maguire's universe, just slightly different.
Oh, okay. I think it would be really interesting to see, because the Green Goblin gets cured, if you will, what's going to happen with Harry after that? Because the whole loss of his father and the betrayal he feels from Peter totally affects his character. What would happen if they,
Well, actually, and yes, if I'm going to do this, I am going to sidetrack. We're going to go look at the most recent Spider-Man series, where we actually do have an entire several episodes of Harry, who is now the new Green Goblin, actually joining up with Spider-Man in that series, actually working together to fight crime.
Wow.
So it could be possibly that. It could be possibly that. I think it'd be pretty interesting. But
like he becomes more of a vigilante or a superhero rather than a villain.
Pretty much. Yeah. Okay. But again, I think it could be very much so, especially since
he has the technology and the
exactly. Not to mention Norman would be cured, so he would be able to protect his father and try to change the look of the Green Goblin and actually make him more of a hero.
Right.
But, like I said, that's a possibility there. And, like I said, there are many theories. And yes, I know a lot of you guys saw Game Theory and how that one explains that everything that they've done is pretty much pointless.
That's offensive.
Technically, he's also right, because if we're not going by multi-timeline theory, which this universe definitely does, since there are multiple versions of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man...
Right.
Means that there's a possibility that there's one timeline where they still aren't saved.
Okay.
They're still dead. That's basically
even
what...
though you cure them, they go back, they're still going to get killed in the timeline.
Well, technically, yeah, because there's a version of them where they're cured and they're saved. And compared to the original movies we now know.
Right.
So, because of what Tom Holland does, He does save them,
Right.
but the original timeline still goes on.
Forward as it had.
As
Wow.
it was originally. They're still dead.
That's crap. What is this theory called?
Multi-timeline theory. That one particular action can still change the effective timelines, but there is still still the original that still continues on.
Oh, that makes
Almost
very
like it's
sad.
basically it's like it branches out into multiple areas depending on choice. But the original timeline still continues solid.
Wow, that's
While all the
depressing.
others are still their own universes in a way.
So really, what they're trying to say is, you even no matter what you do, you can't change. What's
Not
going to
entirely.
happen.
You can still change fate. You can still save them.
But not in the original timeline.
Not in the original timeline. What Tom Holland did is that he saved them and spared them in a new timeline. One where Tobey Maguire's choices are affected. Like, one is the Green Goblin. Does not split off.
Right.
And the other one is where he does split off. He's now cured and he doesn't die. Meaning Harry doesn't become the villain later down the line and respects Spider-Man from now on.
Right.
Maybe even...
And teams up with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Possibility.
Then, of course, there's the Dr. Octopus timeline. One where he sacrificed himself, continues the trilogy.
Right.
Now, there's another one where he not only lives, but they fix the problem before it gets worse.
So it's basically you have to resign yourself to the fact that you can only affect certain universes, but you can't change the actual.
I know it sounds
linear.
I know it sounds bleak to a
That
lot of
is
you guys,
super bleak.
but strange enough, it also shows a catharsis in a way, because in a
Right.
way, it's just like Goblin said. You can't save everyone.
everybody.
And that's actually the sad reality is that
It's
even
very
if you,
true. Yeah.
because here's the thing, you like say if I chose two different drinks, like this one or this one. If I have this one, there's still gonna be a timeline where I've done this.
Right.
So
Right.
there's not real much of a difference. Something is going to be lost. I'm not going to be able to do that one later, or
Right.
or I'm not going to be doing that one later, or maybe it could be a game like
That's
Super Smash
depressing,
Brothers,
yeah.
and that it.
It's depressing.
But there's also a bit of a good thing to it because
Right.
it means that the effects that he did, the changes he did, still happen.
Right.
It's
Well,
more
and I
of
guess
a
it
double-edged
comes down-
sword.
I guess it comes down to the question is, do you still try to fix things
Oh,
even
yeah.
if it's not going to really change the
Exactly.
outcome?
That's the reason why that.
And the answer is yes, because
yes.
it's the right thing to do.
That
But
yeah.
that's like
the
I guess
other
that's
is
the
that
question that they're
the other-
asking in this movie.
yeah, and the
basically.
other is that you still can save them.
right.
There's no doubt about it. You could still save them. Even
Right.
Doctor Strange mentioned it as much. Even he was surprised.
yeah.
He thought fate can be changed. It can. Just like choice.
Right.
You have a choice of what you want to do. Sure, it may be permanent in your timeline, but there's another one where you made that different decision.
right.
I know we went into some science there, folks, but that's kind of what you have to do when you're explaining the whole multiverse, multi-timeline, and multi-dimensional
Complex.
theories.
It's complex.
It's very complex. I had to learn a lot of it, and I'm still trying to get it out of my head.
Well, I guess so. That basically Tom Holland is just his Spider-Man is basically the definition of a superhero. Even though, doing the right thing is going to cause a sacrifice, and it's really not going to change the outcome necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
It's still
It's like
the right
it's like
thing
how
to
I
do.
explained.
It's still what he has to do.
It's like how I explained Aunt May's death.
Right.
They may have used the spell and changed everything. Now that
Right.
the entire world doesn't know they're Spider-Man, but there is unfortunately one major reality: she still dies.
right.
That key choice made him who he is.
Yeah.
And it's actually one of the... And yes, I know a lot of you are sad about this, but technically, that is the one constant in Spider-Man's universes. Someone close to him has to die.
Because he doesn't evolve into his
Yeah,
Spider-Man
Uncle Ben
until
from
he loses.
Uncle Ben from Peter Parker.
Right.
Or, heck, Aunt May in some cases, like Spider-Man, the Marvel Spider-Man for PS4. Yes, I'll talk about that game later.
Oh, God.
Then, of course, there's, Tom Holland Spider-Man. Gwen Stacy from The Amazing Spider-Man.
Right.
Harry Osborn, as well as, of course, Uncle Ben in the Tobey Maguire movies.
Right.
Uncle Aaron from the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse from Miles Morales' uncle.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
Miles Morales' father in Spider-Man, the Spider-Man PS4.
Right.
These people not only died, but taught them responsibility, taught him the line.
Shaped
With
them
great
who they
power
become.
comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Heck, it's kind of the one thing and one constant of all Spider-Man. Someone close to him has to die. There's no choice about that. That's the one constant in all their universes.
Right. Well, and that's Batman as well. That's Batman's.
In Batman's case, a parental figure has to die, such as Terry McGinnis with his father, or with Bruce Wayne with his parents, Dick Grayson with his parents, because he does eventually become Batman in some timelines.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, basically the idea is that yes, loss happens.
Right, and it shapes you.
And it's sad to say the only constant in most of these heroes.
Right.
Like for Black Panther for instance, he lost his father due to a terrorist attack, which literally was a bomb exploding in his face. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Most of the people died in that building, including his father. So, and then of course there's and heck, he was the original Black Panther before his son T'Challa took over. So that's even worse.
That is.
But you get what I mean, though. And that's the thing with characters. Characters have to go through these dilemmas every single time. And with Marvel does a great job with its characters overall. And I think no matter what iteration.
They aim to make them the most realistic.
Exactly.
The most relatable.
So what would you guys give score for this one?
For character?
Yeah.
12. Can I give it a 12?
10.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Such a stickler.
There is a maximum score limit, damn it.
Oh. Fine.
What about you?
Solid 10.
I said 10.
All right, 10. I gotta give it 10. And I know we digressed into the whole timeline, but here's the thing. It actually, and for as confusing as it is, it does explain a lot of things that are happening at this point, and it explains how Matt Pat's theory could still work. Matt Pat, you owe me one. Heck, I actually surprisingly know some theoretical physics and all that. Not all of them, because good lord, that would take me forever. And plus, I'm not necessarily that good at algebra and math. So, but you get what I mean, though. All right, here we go. We're gonna go into music, and dear sweet God, the music.
Wait, we didn't address something.
What?
The whole fame issue in this film about how Holland's Spider-Man, his whole life was ruined from his secret identity coming out.
That's true.
One more character. J. Jonah Jameson in this movie can get fucked.
Who?
J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh, he was awful. He was
I know,
so hateful. What was his fucking problem?
He is an amazingly incredible bastard.
Actually, here's another thing, guys. Another constant in all Spider-Man. J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, but I liked him in the other ones a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
No, he was just as much of a
such
no.
dick
He was a dick in the original movies he was in
I was
too.
like, what is his fucking problem?
Actually, he actually is portrayed better in the video games than he is in the
Oh,
movies.
he was so upsetting.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, Ry-Guy.
And here's the thing. For a lot of you guys are wondering what I mean by why is he better in the video games than he is in the movies. In the movies, he's a total jackass. But in Spider-Man PS4, he actually is someone who does support Spider-Man being a superhero, but doesn't approve of him being a vigilante.
Right.
He wants him to
He's
take
the one
responsibility
asking.
for his actions.
Right,
Heck,
he's the one asking the question.
and actually, there's actually a moment where he's trying to fix the sewage problem. And he addresses that, yes, he did fix the sewage problem, but he caused that problem to begin with all the water towers starting to break apart and starting to cause leaks. He's causing more problems than he's solving,
Right.
which is a realistic
It's like
situation.
the
He's one.
existential question of superheroes
Yeah,
in
for
general.
and for of course J. Jonah Jameson, in the PS4 game, he wants him to do better.
Right.
Hence, he even states, I don't hate Spider-Man entirely. I believe he's doing good. But at the same time, he isn't taking responsibilities for his actions.
Right.
Now, if they writ his character like that in these movies, including the Sam Raimi films, oh hell, his character would not only be more likable, but I think he would actually be more of an interesting foil to Spider-Man instead of being a complete asshat.
Right.
But again, now you're... Alright, so now we're done talking about J. Jonah Jameson and all that. And yes, I was also tempted on this one to give it a 9 because of that. Because, good lord, even in Sam Raimi's case, they made him act like a dick in those movies, including this one.
And he does it really well.
But however,
every time he came on, I was like, oh.
However, here's the thing.
That guy.
Here's the thing, though. It's consistent
That's
throughout
true.
every single Spider-Man movie.
That's
so
true. Although
I'm willing to give it a
I hated him
chance.
so much more in this one. I don't know.
no,
Got to be.
no, it's equal hatred all around for
All
me.
right.
For me, anyway.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right, now let's go into music finally, because good lord, that took us an hour. Or at least it feels like it took us an hour. I don't think it did, but it felt like an hour.
It was important. It was a lot to be said.
Now we're gonna talk about music, and
Music.
this music hits
Are
hard.
you
man.
okay?
That's actually one thing I'm gonna say about this film. The film just ups its game with the soundtrack, man. Holy
did.
sweet
Oh
Jesus!
my god, yes.
Oh, we didn't. You know, we're about Happy. We didn't talk about him at all.
Huh?
I freaking hate you right
I'm
now.
sorry.
All right, hold on. We gotta go back to characters for a second.
Just for a second. Just for a second.
Happy,
Who did we miss?
happy.
Oh, Happy. Oh, yeah, we missed Happy.
Son of a
See,
bitch.
see, Ry-Guy.
Okay.
Happy is
He's
incredible.
with me.
Okay, for what it's worth, Happy in the Spider-Man films is like Peter's father figure.
Right.
Yeah.
So, in a way, it is pretty interesting to see him definitely go through a lot of this
Dealing
stuff.
with
And not
that,
to
yeah.
mention, even though, yes, that Aunt May and him technically broke up, but
I
for
didn't know they
him,
were an item. That's kind of
they
adorable.
actually were.
That's so cute.
In Far Away From Home, and I think in Homecoming, I believe. At the time, however, when she died, he still cared about her no matter what.
Of course,
So,
of course.
still, it's pretty interesting,
It
though.
was sad. It was, I actually learned, Mr. Retro informed me that Iron Man gets killed in one, and that's fucked up.
Oh, yeah, that's
I'm
a
gonna write
spoiler
an
alert
angry
again.
letter, by the way.
Don't
but-
write an angry letter.
I'm
It's
going to. That's not
That
cool.
was-
Here's the thing.
That was...
Robert Downey Jr. was gonna leave Marvel after Endgame
Why?
because he
It's a poor choice.
knows because he had to work on other films,
Whatever.
and so he wanted to have his character go out with a bang.
Oh, that's horrible.
Heck, even the guy who plays Steve Rogers or Captain America isn't gonna be playing him anymore. They even explain how that works. Instead, they sent him back in time, back in the during World War II, where he technically was frozen, and literally hide the time stone and all the stones to make sure no one else can find them.
Oh.
And instead of going back to the future, he stayed and is now an old man.
Oh.
Living with the girl he was in love with in the Captain America?
Peggy Carter.
Yes.
Yeah, he married her
Oh.
and had a family.
Okay, well that's okay.
So he now leaves the Captain America position behind.
Oh wow. Okay.
Honestly, that's kind of needed considering.
I'm
But
sad
yeah.
that Happy doesn't know Tom in the end. But
Unfortunately,
again,
he
that's-
knows
that's a
Spider-Man.
trope.
He
That's
just
a
doesn't
character.
know Peter Parker. That's
Right.
basically the idea.
Right.
Are we now done?
Yes. Sorry.
No more
You didn't say anything
characters?
about Ned, really. Do you want to address Ned?
I freaking hate you both. Alright.
What? I didn't say shit.
You were about to say something.
I was not.
I'm kidding, man. Yeah, we gotta talk about Ned. In this case, Ned definitely he almost feels more like a comic relief character, but done in a more useful way.
Right.
Like he isn't
He's still integral to the plan.
not to mention, he actually is the one who helps create some of his gadgets.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he created the
Okay.
web shooters and the web cartridges.
okay.
That was his idea,
That's
not
bitchin'.
Tom's.
That's bitchin'. See, he needs him. He needs them.
That's the difference
It's
between,
so
I think,
heartbreaking.
Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland's characters.
Right.
Andrew Garfield is the genius out of the three. He's basically done all this himself.
But he's also the most broken Spider-Man out of all.
Exactly. Tom Holland
Oh,
is the youngest and the most inexperienced, so
But he
having a
seems
group
to be-
with him makes sense.
Right. He seems the most
And then, of
happy,
course, there's
too,
Tobey
self-assured.
Maguire. He's just Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. There's just no explaining him.
No, he's like he's laid back.
He's the veteran, but however, here's the thing. I'm also calling him that because he's the only one who doesn't need cartridges.
Right.
But yeah.
He's mindful. He's,
Anyway, let's.
Okay.
No more characters, and I swear to God, if you mention anyone else, I'm gonna kick your ass.
I can't think of anybody else.
Thank God. All right, now we're gonna. Fuck.
That's great.
What?
He is.
Sorry, I'm just trying to reel back from all this. That actually did take us an hour. Thank you.
You're welcome. Music.
All right, now we're going to the music.
Yes.
Sweet. God. But, yeah. I'm sorry, folks.
Lost your focus.
It's just dealing with freaking characters is just a nightmare.
But it's so important in this film.
True, but at the same time, there's so freaking many of them.
There is, yes.
Like, why?
I feel like they're very.
What the hell are you doing in the background there, Ry-Guy?
Master Duel.
Oh, could you, turn it down, please?
I'll turn it down.
Thank you, man. But, yeah, it's, like, what the hell, man? I don't think... sorry, folks. My brain has been a little fried after dealing with the whole characters thing. That could have been a whole review in itself. But yeah, if we're gonna go, Michael Giacchino is the one who was the musical composer for this movie, and he does a fantastic job.
He does.
He did an amazing job with sounds of the choirs. The music was just absolutely booming, especially the ending when you see him literally swinging off and all that, accepting his new reality.
Right.
So
in the suit, in the revised.
Literally, yeah, and not to mention the scene where he's leaving his friends behind.
Right.
You hear that orchestra, you hear that choir.
So upsetting.
It really hits you home that things are going to change for him, and it's not going to be for the better.
And it's so sad, especially for Tom's Spider-Man, because his entire being as Spider-Man is based on his relationship with his girlfriend and his best friend.
And now that they're gone.
And they're gone. He's choosing to protect them, as a superhero has to do in that instant, you know. But it pushes it home more, it drives it home more, just how heartbreaking his choice to walk away from them is. Even for Tobey's, you know, Spider-Man, like
hearing all their themes, and of course hearing all their themes together, and not to mention hearing the uplifting music as you then suddenly see, because here's the thing, you hear you hear Andrew Garfield, you start to see so quiet, and then it starts to build up as soon as he walks right through the portal and you see him.
Right.
Where Tobey's is more like, it's very uplifting music. You suddenly see him turn around and he just goes through normally, and you see his face.
Chill. He's so
you finally
back.
see him return, but you also notice that he's a lot more of a relaxed person now than he was back in those days.
Totally. I feel like they perfectly embodied their characters as they portrayed them
through the music as well.
In the previous films. With the music too, they handled this so beautifully. I thought it could be a disaster. I really did, but it was extraordinary how they handled the characters and tied it all together with the atmosphere and the vibe and.
Yeah. What about incredible. You, Ry-Guy? What'd you think of the music?
You guys took the words right out of my mouth. It's just been amazing.
All right, so what would you guys give this category, since that was that quick?
10. Absolutely.
10.
Yeah. No question.
I think they had Garfield's theme, didn't they?
Yeah, Garfield's theme, Tobey's theme, yeah.
No, but I mean the moment between him and MJ. Didn't they have an element of that?
I think so.
It was very.
But I am gonna say this. Sorry, I have to. Oh, here we go. Michael Giacchino. He's on par with John Williams.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even joking. His music is that good. And it's very rare for me to say that. I don't normally say anybody's on par with John Williams.
No.
Because there are very few composers that do. I know there's some composers, like the guy who did the soundtrack for Big Hero 6 did an amazing job. He's done a lot of good movies too, anyway.
Right.
But yeah, he's one example, but yeah, this one definitely. It's rare for me to say, but if you can be on par with John Williams, you did one hell of a job.
Right.
In my personal opinion. Now we're going to go on to the design of the film. And luckily enough, there's not really much to really discuss with the design, honestly, because a lot of the Spider-Man films are pretty similar. The only real major difference is the costumes.
Right.
And of course,
well, I thought Doctor Strange's scenes were really interesting.
oh yeah, oh
Those
my
are incredible.
lord. Oh yeah, just imagine if you watch the first
with
movie.
the universe ripping open, that was wild.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, if you ever, I'm gonna make sure she watches Doctor Strange, the first one, because you're gonna see a whole bunch of crazy stuff in that one.
That's so
Oh,
cool.
yeah. I only have one little minor complaint about the movie at all.
What's that?
It's about the after credits scene, with Eddie and Venom.
Yeah.
Why did everyone else disappeared except for that teeny piece of Venom? Why didn't it disappear?
Remember when he pounded his fist into the table?
I don't remember that little part, but
Yeah, remember when he said, "Yeah, we're drunk." And I think a part of the suit might have gotten out to control Eddie, and as a result, it left a piece behind.
Which means, as
But
you said,
still,
he's
don't
now
you
part
think
of this
since
universe.
it's still
right?
a part of Venom, it would have disappeared with him and Eddie?
Here's the thing, you know that the symbiotes are technically asexual, right?
Yes, I know that may have been
And technically,
Venom Jr., but still.
basically the idea is how Carnage started.
Oh, okay. No, I understand asexual. I
Yeah,
get that.
so in this
That was
particular
pretty-
case,
that was
yeah, I think that might have been what happened. Now there's a new Venom out there. The only question is, will this be a hindrance for Spider-Man, or will this actually help him?
Well, and it implied, too, that Doctor Strange has some serious backlash with the spell in another movie that's coming up.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I can't wait for that one. That's going to be amazing. But here's the thing. When it comes down to the symbiote, remember, this is a different symbiote compared to what we usually know of in some shape or form. Venom is still obsessed with Spider-Man. You already know that from the last film.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, when Venom and Eddie Brock got transported to the MCU, he reacted almost like he was happy to see Spider-Man on the TV screen.
Oh.
So I'm starting to think he still has that obsession. But there's a difference. Venom, for Eddie Brock's Venom in the Venom movie, he has a different personality than the other ones. He's not entirely villainous. He's more of a basically anti-hero good guy.
Oh.
He only kills criminals and mainly eats their brains.
Oh. All right.
But basically, he never hurts any innocents. If you've watched the Venom movies, he's actually very kind to some, including a shop owner who Venom actually openly acknowledges her, saying, "Hello there."
Oh.
It's actually kind of strange. I don't know how that works, but but apparently he has a much better personality.
Chang, I believe it was.
Yes.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but yeah, in this case, what if the symbiote suit acts differently this time? I don't think, because think about it. In the Venom movies, Venom actually is a hero. When he comes into this universe, even though, yes, he still has an obsession with Peter, what if for a little while his personality doesn't change all that much?
It'll be interesting how they play it out.
It will be very, very interesting.
Yeah.
So what would you guys say for the overall design of the film?
I loved it. I thought it was bitchin'.
10.
Yeah, 10. Easy 10. So you guys say 10 as well?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
No worries. Alright, and finally, we have the last category. Atmosphere. This one definitely hits all marks.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It is very rare to have a film that has not only a soundtrack, but a story, as well as, of course, the characters and the design of the film to stay pretty consistent.
Right.
But to do it in a way that has a soundtrack that builds the atmosphere, especially through some of the moments here. We see the soundtrack, even though it sounds a little bit uplifting, but it also sounds like it's definitely has almost a sense of regret.
Right.
Where, of course, when you get to see the action scenes, you feel the energy of the entire story and the music build up. Like when all three of them jump off the Statue of Liberty, you see them swinging around, you see them land in their stances from the films.
Right.
All together, ready to go, ready to challenge the three villains that are attacking them. Then, of course, we have like the ending scenes and all that, where we see him trying to go through all this. You see that you see that the atmosphere is consistent throughout the story.
Right.
And I love how films do that. If you can stay consistent with the atmosphere that you're trying to convey, and stick with it through and follow it throughout the story,
right,
then you pretty much made the perfect film.
It's a hell of a roller coaster too of the film. I mean, it's the beginning really starts with like his secret identity has come out, the fame, how dangerous it can be, how affecting it can, how much it can change things and destroy things, and it has this very tense vibe, and then as the story progresses, you get more of the emotional feeling with it, with the three of them coming together and sort of understanding each other and understanding their own characters as well. And then you get at the end, you get that really, really upsetting ending for Holland's Spider-Man. And I think the atmosphere it in no way distracts you. It doesn't
shy away from the truth.
Right. It doesn't. You're not ever, when you're watching the film, like, oh, this is a really great movie. You're just in it. And I think for, like you said, like the consistency of the atmosphere is when it pulls you in and it doesn't distract, it just keeps you in it throughout the whole film. They did a really excellent job. They really did.
I originally was going to give more of an atmosphere a 9, but when I saw it a second time, I saw where my buddy Snowy Gecko was coming from. You start to get into the story,
right,
instead of getting hyped up for almost every single little thing in the movie.
Right.
So it really gets you to see things more as an actual film instead of literally saying, "Oh, look, there's that character, there's that one,
yeah,
that
was so funny when, yeah, exactly.
Yeah." So basically, that's what I think. What about you, Ry-Guy? What'd you think of the atmosphere overall in this movie?
It was incredible.
It was.
Like, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, it's just kind of hard for me to put into words.
Totally understandable, man. So what would you guys rate this one, since this one was pretty quick?
Absolute 10.
10.
Oh yeah, 10.
Well, that's another movie that gets the 50 mark. And especially since this one's a new film of all things.
This is an awesome surprise.
It's no wonder that I'm glad they ended 2021 on this movie.
Right.
Because good God,
we needed a win.
We needed at least one win for 2021 here, folks. Now, I mean like a major win, not any of the crap we were dealing that year.
Right.
Hopefully 2022 is going to be much better.
Right.
And so far, it sounds like it's been a bit of a mixed bag. More like we have some good moments, some bad moments, some very harsh truth reveals, and of course some of our actors no longer being around. So
Right.
that's what happens, though. But hopefully things get better. But yeah, that was a 50 score all around, and I rarely and here's the thing.
You're harsh. Usually, you're vicious.
Here's the
You
thing.
don't get 50s often.
Here's the thing, though. I need to be subjective.
You do.
I can't be objective on this one. If I was to be objective, then a lot of my childhood favorites would have gotten 50s, even though they deserved far worse.
Right.
But that's also, yeah, so when I give a 50,
It's earned.
you have to earn it.
Yeah.
It's where
Yeah.
games like Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, in my personal opinion, are well, actually, yeah, or like games like
Kid Fire Cat is on Twitch, and she's
Oh.
adding her 2 cents in.
Oh, cool. Sure, let's take a look. So yeah, 9 out of 10, and the ending could have been better, I feel. I can see where you're coming from on that one. The ending could have been better, but at the same time, you do see where it's coming from.
It's more realistic.
It's more of a message that sometimes things just don't work out. You're just going to have to try to make the best of the situation. And especially since you see, and actually, it's actually kind of awesome because I actually went through the GED program that he's going through right now in the movie.
Right.
So I know where he's going to be going at this point. So it'd be interesting to say the least. And heck, I actually, side note, I actually was part of a commercial for a GED once. It was for EastCon. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting thing there.
I think it's still hopeful, even though it's pretty bleak that he loses so much.
True, but at the same time,
He's
I
still
think.
going.
However, you also see him embracing his Spider-Man
Right.
nature, especially when he makes his new costume, which is a combination of both both of theirs plus the original design that was done in the comics.
Right.
That was awesome.
But yeah, when it comes down to yeah, this film was definitely one of those interesting ones to say the least.
Yeah.
Okay, since we gave it perfect scores, we can't do Retro Evolution this time. Sad to say, guys, sorry. But for those of you guys who are new, Retro Evolution is that if a movie gets less than a 50, then we have an option to say if we were in the director's chair, what would we change about it and why. So, oh, sorry. No, that hit me hard there.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm okay. So instead, we're going to go into the questions that I got a whole list of questions from back then. Also, if you guys want to ask any questions of your own, let me know in the chat or in the comments of these videos, and I will make sure that they are shown in the next episode, which the next episode will be, of course, a top 10 list of our top 10 favorite RPGs.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to be doing that one for next RetroActive's Corner.
Quick question about that.
Yeah?
Solely RPGs, or can we also include action RPGs?
We're doing basically RPGs in general. Like, we're
Okay.
counting action RPGs, we're counting JRPGs, WRPGs, which is Western, dungeon RPGs, that sort of stuff.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be counting all of those. I'll let you guys know who the guest stars are going to be on for that particular Saturday during one of my streams next week. But yeah, for what it's worth, though, it's going to be very interesting. But yeah, we have at least a few questions here for our two guest stars here, including myself. So let's take a look. For our first question on Spider-Man No Way Home, if you went through what Peter went through in this film, what would you do?
Oh, God,
I think you made the
I
right
don't know.
choice. You know,
Oh, I would have tried to kill Goblin.
well, oh, is that what you're asking about, or just the ending?
No, just overall
The whole-
when he loses Aunt May.
All in all, I think, yeah, I mean, when you lose someone you
But
love in
beat him
such a violent way, of
unconscious,
course you're going to
not
want
kill
revenge.
him.
That's totally human. you
I am
know?
the only one that seems to want murder Green Goblin in some way. Good lord.
I think the
It would have
ending
made my
goes
character a little bit more tragic, because then the weight of the guilt would have hit him hard.
Right. Well, and I.
But
believe
again, that's
what-
just me, though. I want to see. Normally, I'm fine with no tragedy at all in those cases. But sometimes, if the tragedy is necessary for his character to really
the
start
character
expanding,
development, yeah.
I definitely would try
Yeah.
going for that, though, if I was going to be
Right.
doing a story like that. But
I appreciate that the other two Spider-Men were there to
that's the reason
To
why
help
I
him
don't want to
through
change
that.
it, because
Right,
those
I feel
two
this
are
film
his guiding
was-
presence.
Right, exactly. This film really, I think they handled that well. And I think the ending as well is there's really no choice. When you love someone, but you know that your presence with them is gonna, harm them, you make the choice to walk away. It's a superhero. That's the life. That's the existential question. Aside from, am I doing the right thing by being a superhero? They don't really have a choice. They are what they are, and you use your power as, best that you can,
True.
To make the world better. And you protect the people you need to protect. And
Yeah.
that's included walking away. So I don't think I would change anything. I thought it was really beautifully done.
Yeah.
And I was totally shocked that it was done so well. I didn't expect that.
All right. Another one is this one I actually was discussing with this person a while back. If you were Spider-Man, what would you do different?
In regards to everything, or just one thing in particular?
Your choice. For me, I would definitely have to upgrade my armor.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, good lord, if I'm going to be facing all those damn supervillains, I got to get something that can at least take a hit.
Right.
For as superhuman as I am, I'd rather make sure I don't have broken ribs by the end of it.
I like Holland's suit with the Iron Man aspect. That was
Oh, yeah, the Iron Spider?
That was bitchin'.
Yeah.
That was very cool.
Honestly, that definitely would be something. I would do that early on, though, so that at least I have something to protect myself
Spare
against anything.
your guts a little bit.
Yeah, definitely spare my spleen exploding in my body.
I like that Holland's Spider-Man has a team. I think that's awesome. That was really surprising and different, because I'm totally unfamiliar with the other versions of him. But I would definitely take that route for sure. I'd want a team.
True.
I want my people that I loved in on it, But, you have to be honest about endangering them as well, so.
True enough. Okay, here's another question. What Spider-Man would you like to see enter the Tom Holland universe now that they've done the whole Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield?
Which one?
Which
Drake
Spider-Man?
Bell Spider-Man from the Disney XD Spider-Man cartoon.
The who?
There was a cartoon Spider-Man from Disney XD that was played by Drake Bell.
Oh yeah, you're right. I don't remember which one that was though. I think that was Spectacular Spider-Man, if I remember correctly.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh, it was Ultimate Spider-Man. Okay.
I'd like to see them all in one fell swoop. I want to see them all together. I think that opens the door for all of the other superheroes that we have.
True.
And it's sort of like limitless in what you could do with it.
It'd be pretty cool to see Miles Morales.
Very cool.
Oh yeah.
It would be interesting, and especially since he could actually have more of a younger partner as well as a someone he could teach his tricks to.
Right.
All right, and of course, here's another one. I think this one would be pretty interesting. And this actually involves the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Would it be awesome to see all three of those Spider-Man enter Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 2?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I want to see them together again no matter what. I don't care where you put them.
It'd be pretty interesting to see the three of them plus a lot of other Spider-Man from all the other Spider-Man anime universes.
Like as in real time, real people?
No, not real people. Like
just as cartoon?
Across the Spider-Verse is an animated movie.
Oh, okay.
So it'd be easy for them to gather all the people to actually do the voices.
Oh, okay. No, I want to see the cartoons come into the real world. As people, real people.
Oh, yeah.
Live action.
Makes sense. That would be an interesting another one. What about you, Ry-Guy? What would you think?
I think her idea is pretty good. Having all the different Spider-Man, the animated ones come into the real world, that'd be pretty fun. But having all the different Spider-Man come to the animated universe, that would be a lot easier and more feasible to do.
I don't like easy feasible.
Yeah, but at the same time, it also allowed them to really show off what they can do.
Right.
Yeah.
In the cartoon art form. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this one was definitely interesting. Have any of you ever heard of the Spider-Man mangaverse?
No, I don't know what that means.
Basically, there's a manga series in Japan that is basically the story of Spider-Man.
Oh my
However,
God.
he doesn't have superpowers.
Oh, he's just a vigilante.
No, it's more like the reason why he's called Spider-Man is because of the tools he uses.
Oh, I want to see that.
He has,
That's intriguing.
he actually used these, dang it, what are those tools called? Basically, they're claws that go on the inside of your palm that allow you to climb on surfaces.
Okay.
And of course, they use the Kaginawa, which is a grappling hook, basically. And the spider sense is explained through the Saki test, where you literally have to dodge a blade while sitting down and facing away from the sword swinger.
Oh, wow. That's bitchin'.
Yeah, so that's actually pretty funny. But also, it kind of makes sense. What about you? What do you... have you ever heard of it, Ry-Guy?
Actually,
Have you ever heard of the Spider-Man mangaverse?
no, never heard of it.
I think they're actually making a film. Because I saw an article come up because I was looking for articles about No Way Home, and it said that they had just found... They started casting for the Japanese Spider-Man, and I didn't know what that was. I haven't looked into it. I saved it. I'll send you the link.
Alright.
That's wild. So it's probably based on that.
It'll be interesting. Alright. Okay, and another popular question, and this one is actually not Spider-Man related, which is strange. But the only reason why I'm doing it now is because I swear to God, if I don't ever freaking... and this is personally for me, if I don't answer this question soon, I feel like I'm going to have a riot on my hands. Am I ever going to play Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach? Yes, I will. Leave me alone.
With the lights off.
Oh God, no.
Yes. That's the whole point.
But yes, I
No.
promise I will try to get the game. The other video game request is that, are you ever going to review Pokemon Legends Arceus? I own the game.
Woohoo.
I'm still playing it. I've barely even passed, I think, the first or second part of this freaking game. And trust me, this is huge. It's going to take me a while, but I promise I will review this in time. Because, good lord, the game is huge, guys. It's literally Breath of the Wild mixed with Ghost of Tsushima and Pokemon.
It's beautiful. It really is.
It does look beautiful.
Heck, I'm at a point where I can actually build Great Balls now. Thank freaking God.
Oh my God, you have to build Pokeballs?
Yes!
Oh, good lord.
You actually have to build Pokeballs, you have to make potions. Like I said, I could delve deep into this game for 3 hours straight for a review. But right now, I don't want to do that since I'm still working on it. Oh my lord, I'm still trying to get through the damn story, and I'm barely even through it right now. I haven't even explored the entire island at this point.
So it's
Or the
really
entire
well done.
nation. Oh lord, the region is huge. I'm only in the first area, and I've explored as much as I can in it, without literally getting myself killed.
Right.
Strange enough, I haven't literally died at all, so that's a bit of a shocker. But yeah, it's interesting to say the least. But yeah, like I said, I'll give you guys a full detailed review in the future for this game. It's gonna take me a while to be able to do that. Especially when you find out that in order to complete the Pokedex, you have to catch as many of them as you can. And there's multiple ways to catch them, so that's already something. But let's get back into Spider-Man questions. But I had to address those two because I swear to God, you guys are never going to stop harassing me on that until I finally give you a damn answer. So I finally am able to give you at least one. Are you going to play Abe's Odyssey? Okay, so that's another question that's off base from Spider-Man, but yeah, I will definitely play Abe's Odyssey. I've actually been a big fan of Abe's Odyssey as well as Abe's Exodus, the Oddworld games, and I absolutely love them. And I have the PC versions now, so I could actually play those for you guys when the time comes, and I'm actually going to be really excited to try that. Now we're going to go back into Spider-Man for the last two. One is that if you were Spider-Man, what would your costume look like?
I think it's traditional. I like the way
You go with the traditional look?
Although I dig Holland's Spider-Man suit. That's cool.
Yeah,
The Iron Man
I gotta go
nanotechnology.
traditional Spider-Man costume. I mean, nothing really beats a classic like that.
Totally. Well, that's like Superman too. You know.
I would definitely like the
Batman.
black and blue mixed with a little bit of red for my
Oh,
particular costume. Because not only would it add to the stealth aspects of New York City, since light pollution with shadows and all that, but it would be pretty interesting to see how the suit would eventually camouflage itself, because I would like to try to make it more like a dark blue that could turn to black in certain areas of light.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. And the red would be the Spider-Man logo on my, not on my chest, but on my back, to make sure that if I'm above someone, they still can't see me. But that's just how I would make my design. And finally, our last question for today, and of course, the last question that's based on Spider-Man. And this question is very interesting. If you were Peter Parker's best friend and you found out he was Spider-Man, how would you help him?
Well, I mean, if you don't have special powers, you can't really help him fight in the
You know that-
direct sense, but you can like research and
Make
build
gadgets
equipment and
I have some martial arts experience, so
That's
I
true.
should be
That's
able to
true.
at least try to handle myself if I ever got myself in trouble.
Right.
Plus, if anything, I at least know what I'm dealing with. If I know I'm dealing with a gun, I'll just have to try to find a weapon of my own and try to shoot his feet. Sure, I'd be injuring him, but here's the thing. A bullet through the foot is much easier to fix than a bullet through the chest.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Not to mention, they'll be writhing in extreme pain either way, so it works out in my favor.
I think the answer for me would just be any way that I could. You know, because it's a cause. It's a beautiful cause to do the right thing to help people.
Very
So-
true.
Yeah.
And I'd do everything I could to keep his real name a secret.
True. Oh, side note. What about gadgets? What type of gadgets would you try to build for him if you were to make your own signature gadget?
I think something that like contains the bad guy, so that it's not that you don't have to expel so much energy fighting them and getting them, you know,
Almost like an
into
energy
submissive-
force field.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'd go with the web grenade from
Yeah.
the PlayStation 4 Spider-Man game, because that's a useful gadget.
That
I
sounds cool.
I definitely would go more the spider drones myself, because you could build a built-in taser.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
You
that's
could actually
true.
take them down without using lethal force.
Right.
And not to mention, they would be automated to target any criminal that just happens to be in the small area he's in. And you could retract them, and they would go right back to his person if need be.
I liked how Holland had his cell phone like strapped to his chest so that they could FaceTime Michelle
Jones.
Michelle Jones, and Ned could like like Skype as he's fighting. I thought that was really cool. I think something less huge.
If anything,
and invasive
I
in
would
that
definitely
regard.
more put that in the goggles themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
That way, I could actually get real time and see what he's seeing. So that way, I could be able to pick out whatever bad guys, whatever is around the
Right.
area. Plus, I'd be able to
Right.
do a deep scan of the area
Ooh,
if
you know, it would
possible.
be good. Like a sort of camera goggles thingy that goes all the way around, like 360, so that his team can alert him if there's someone behind him. You know
That's
what I mean?
true.
Right.
But he does have the spider sense,
That's
so
true.
he doesn't have to
He
worry
does.
about that.
He does.
At least my system would be more like a deep scan of the area using satellite imagery. Anyway, guys, that is it for the review of Spider-Man No Way Home, as well as answering a whole bunch of questions, including, of course, two offshoot
off.
ones that, honestly, you guys really wanted me to do. And yes, I have already told you this, but yes, I will play Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach when I get it. And I will review Pokemon Legends Arceus when I finally finish the damn game. But yeah, when it comes down to it, it's those. But here's the thing: where Security Breach may be happening sooner than you think, Arceus may take a while. But for what it's worth, though, we're going to be doing Minecraft tonight, so hopefully you guys will get a chance to join us for that. I'm going to try to gather Grimmaster if I can, maybe including Kitten Firecat if she wants to join as well. I'm also going to try to gather a few other people for... it says right here, Kitten Fire says she'll steal Spider-Gwen's look. Okay.
Very cool.
Austin String said gray and black for his design for Spider-Man suit.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I'm gonna try to gather our D&D group for the upcoming mission for just trying to finish everything, because I swear to God, at this point, we're still trying to build the damn land bridge.
Right.
Because we're trying to build it more of a 3-way land bridge. And if everything works out, everything works out, but still.
Mm-hmm.
For what it's worth, though, it's going to be one heck of a build. I'm going to straight up say that at least. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I blanked out for a second. Roblox is happening from 12 to 3. So, it's the reason why we're not doing a long stream for Minecraft, because I do have to get up really early if I want to be able to get Roblox started at 12 or possibly at 1, depending on the situation. We have D&D on Monday from 6 to 9. Hopefully everybody's going to be able to get there on time. If not, we'll try to continue Super Mario Galaxy, because I know we really need to finish that one, because we are so close to damn finishing that game. I'm not even joking. We're so damn close. Because we have a few galaxies to finish. We have couple more comets to finish. We have to beat the boss level on that particular sector. Then we have to go rescue Princess Peach in the final star, get the final star. And then we have to, of course, give me a second. And then, of course, we have to do all the purple comets, which that one's going to be an annoying hassle to deal with in and of itself. But that's only if no one shows up for D&D. And finally, we have, of course, Tuesday. We have Sports Tuesday. We're back at Backyard Baseball 2001. We're going to try to continue our season and hopefully get into the playoffs. I will, of course, give you guys an updated list on the Backyard Football 2002 team, since we just finished their season a while back, as well as, of course, doing a list for the second season team of the Mighty Melonheads in Backyard Baseball 2001. Anyway, I want to thank Ry-Guy and Billiepetal for joining us today. It's been great having you guys here. Hopefully we get to do this again. Just like before, I will let you guys recommend possibly a future review. So, what would you guys like to see us do on the channel?
I don't know. I gotta think about it.
Actually, wait a minute. Sorry. The top 10 RPGs is going to have to wait till next to the Saturday after. Because I did promise a certain someone we would be reviewing the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, God.
You guys know him as Machine Rage on Twitch. We're going to be doing that one for next Saturday. The Saturday after will be top 10 RPGs. But yeah, I'm actually very excited. I'm also very terrified and excited to deal with this franchise. I am... oh, God. But yeah. So, Machine Rage, I hope you're watching this, because you're going to have to get ready, man, because we're going to be delving deep into the absolutely chaotic and dark lore of Five Nights at Freddy's, and it's going to take me a while, especially since I also have to buy the books and get those, read those, then I have to go and review those, and then... Why me? I've already had to deal with enough with the games. Now I have to do this, and now with, of course, Help Wanted. That's a VR game that basically plays all the all the Five Nights at Freddy's games all in one, all in VR. Wow. I have to play now. Great. Thank you, Scott Cawthon, for ruining my life. I have to 100% beat those now. I'm not looking forward to this.
Nightmares.
Oh, you poor bastard.
I have post-traumatic stress disorder from that franchise alone. And I hate my friends for giving me that stupid challenge a while back. Anyway. And actually, I don't hate them. It's just...
Yeah.
I get a migraine. Yeah, I get a migraine every time I have to hear that.
Well, it's a totally unique game, you know, so...
Unique but that game is a nightmare to deal with. 2020 mode, and then there's 50-20 mode on Ultimate Custom Night I have to deal with now. I swear to God. And here's the thing. I blame Markiplier for the whole starting the 2020 thing. Thank you for starting that whole trend. Thank you for giving Scott Cawthon the idea. Because now every game has it.
The 2020 thing.
Basically, if you set all of the animatronics to 20, which is the highest difficulty in the game, and you have to beat that.
Well, it's taking the traditional game and upping it, making it more challenging. Isn't that the point of a video game? Like,
yeah, but there's a difference between...
To evolve, right?
There's a difference between that and literally just making it
out of you.
Basically giving you such stress management that you want to kill yourself.
Oh, that's terrible.
I still feel that way every time I play that game. That's the reason why I always play on easy mode. I don't want to do this on any other difficulty now. It kills me. I'm literally torturing myself. You see how much I'm losing my damn mind. If you guys are wondering why I'm tired, I kind of played that game till 5 a.m. this morning. The Pokemon Legends Arceus game this morning, I played till 5 a.m. and I'm not necessarily happy with what I did there. That's the reason why you heard me yawn a few times. It seemed the bags under my eyes. I kind of went a little overboard.
You know what? That's like a family trait, though, because Inget will play when she gets a new game. She'll play until she beats it.
Pretty much.
Here's the thing, though.
This is a very, 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 very huge game. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it in one sitting.
No, absolutely not.
Anyone does, I'll be amazed. But yeah, for what it's worth, though, it's the reason why I'm tired. I'm sorry I look like a very, very...
Sleepy retro.
Sleeping, depressed Eeyore. But...
We love Eeyore, though. That's okay.
I know, but at the same time, he also has the bags under his eyes. But yeah, that one's gonna take me a while, though. Jesus. But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to doing the review of that in the future. Just not for a while. But I still haven't even heard your suggestions, guys. We kind of digressed there. So, and that time was on me.
That was like a squiggly circle.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, what would you guys suggest for the channel?
I know you and I had a lot of conversations about, I think it's BioShock.
Oh!
Yeah.
Alright.
I found that one really intriguing.
BioShock, yeah. Oh wait, the original System Shock.
Ooh, okay. Hang on.
And actually, Inget can partake in that one too.
That'd be good, yeah.
She's
Alright, so BioShock and System Shock. Okay. Alright, so after our top 10 RPGs, we'll be doing BioShock. So that'll be very interesting, and then we'll do System Shock afterwards.
Right on.
But I did promise Machine Rage that I would do a review with him on Five Nights at Freddy's, which... at least reading the books wouldn't be that bad, at least.
No.
This is the one time I'm actually going to be happy to read. So...
I like horror books.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I would rather read...
fan? Come on.
I would rather read those books than ever play the games.
Okay.
Now you know my pain. Anyway, guys, until then, I hope you all have an amazing day. I will see you all next time. This is Mr. RetroActive, signing out. And we're going to have the cutscene play us out, so have a great day, everybody. Well, until then, I hope you all have an amazing day. I will see you all next time. This is Mr. Retroactive signing out. Have a great day, everybody.